And welcome to the Hot Lap. Sergio Perez gone from Red Bull. It has been made official. The will they or won't they has finally ended. That will they won't they started pretty much halfway through 2023. It's now ended. Rightly or wrongly, some people may be happy, some people may be sad, but let's get into it. So Sergio Perez gone. He announces his departure, but significantly not retirement from the Red Bull team. That's from a tweet from motorsport.com. People are saying goodbye. Thank you for these 4 years. Red Bull Racing, I wish you the best. So let's have a read of this. So he's basically said, after 4 incredible seasons together, Oracle, Red Bull Racing and Sergio Perez have reached an agreement to part ways during this time. Checo played a crucial role in securing multiple Grand Prix wins. Yes, countless podium. There are quite a few. And 2 Constructors' World Championships, significantly contributing to the team's most successful era in Formula One. Well, I don't know. I think Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber might have a thing to say. But reflecting on his time with Red Bull Racing, Sergio said, "I'm incredibly grateful for the past 4 years with Red Bull Racing and for the opportunity to race with such an amazing team. Driving for Red Bull has been an unforgettable experience, and I'll always cherish the success we achieved together. We broke records, we reached remarkable milestones, and I've had the privilege of meeting so many incredible people along the way. A big thank you to every person in the team." He's talking management, engineers, mechanics, catering, hospitality, kitchen, marketing, and communications, as well as everyone at Milton Keynes. I wish you the best for the future. And he says it's also been an honour to race alongside Max as a teammate all these years and to share in our success. He said a special thank you to the fans around the world, and especially the Mexican fans, for your unwavering support every day. We'll meet again soon, and remember, never give up. Yeah, so quite a nice send-off Checo gives himself. Oracle Red Bull Racing saying, from the moment Checo joined in 2021, he proved himself to be an extraordinary team player, helping us to 2 Constructors' titles. He will always be an extremely popular team member and a treasured part of our history. Thank you, Checo, says Oracle Red Bull Racing. And let's be fair, especially in the first 2 years of Checo's 4 years, or the first 2 and a bit, he at times was a match for Max Verstappen. There were races where he beat the 4-time champion. Not many, but he did. If you remember the really good start he had, for example, I think in 2023, and there were moments in 2022 as well. So the 2024 Checo, though, and the latter half of 2023 was not the Checo we saw. And if you remember, go back all the way to his first win in 2020. It wasn't the Bahrain Grand Prix, was it, though? But yeah. So, Max Verstappen, he said he's come out and said, it's been an absolute pleasure driving alongside you. We've had some amazing moments together. I'll always remember. Thank you, Checo, which is obviously nice. And Esteban Ocon, gracias por todo, Checo. I learned a lot from you, and it was great to race alongside you all these years. Wishing you all the best. I'm sure we'll see you again soon. What is sad, and it might very well be Checo's fault. For example, if you remember Hamilton's send-off at Mercedes, yes, some said, oh my gosh, you'd think the guy's retiring. He wasn't. Sergio Perez didn't get a send-off at all. Yes, I know he went off on the first lap, but is that a Checo problem? Because Red Bull, the rumour was they wanted him to retire and then stay with the Red Bull team. Yes, they did offer him in June, I think around the Canadian Grand Prix, that 2-year contract, which we all thought was a mistake. They were like, no, it might make him happy to... No, it was really, really silly. But was then Checo putting his foot down, essentially be like, no, I've got a contract for next year and fighting it, which is why we took this long, which is why Checo, let's be fair, had a lesser send-off than even Daniel Ricciardo potentially, if this was his swan song from Formula One. Now let's get into the story. Perez announced his departure from Red Bull, and that's with immediate effect, as it says. We've already seen that. So it was widely expected, and it's going to vacate the seat. We don't know who's in the other seat yet, but Perez's historical bad form had long left his future in doubt, it says, despite him originally having signed that 2-year contract, which would see him through to the end of 2026. But following negotiations since the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix finish, they've obviously agreed. And Perez said, thank you for these years at Red Bull Racing. I wish you the best. Perez added in a press release saying he's incredibly grateful for his years at Red Bull. And he obviously said thank you very much. Now, team principal Christian Horner added, I would like to thank Checo for all he has done for Oracle Red Bull Racing over the past 4 years. From the moment he joined, he proved himself to be an extraordinary team player, which is good. And while Checo will not race for the team next season, he will always be an extremely popular team member and a treasured part of our history. So while there's been no consideration of Perez retaining ties to Red Bull, initially we all thought some sort of maybe ambassadorial role, it's understood that this was eventually ruled out. Was it ruled out on Perez's side or Red Bull side? I can't help but think maybe, because Perez is a really popular driver. So maybe Perez made it impossible, but this is all conjecture, we don't know. But he joined in 2021, he placed 4th, 3rd and 2nd during his first 3 years with the team, helping it win 2 Constructors titles and helping them not win 3, which really should have been done this year, I think. But as the rivals caught up in 2024, he was enduring difficulties way before that. But despite season-long speculation about his future, he was always adamant that he would see out his 2-year contract. Okay, he's not. Red Bull has not yet made an announcement about who will replace. Many people think it's going to be this guy here, Liam Lawson, rather than Yuki Tsunoda, even though Tsunoda said Red Bull were quite impressed with him. So that's quite interesting. So this is an interesting fact, and probably one of the reasons why he was dropped. Sergio Perez has as many Q1 eliminations as McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes combined this season. Q1 eliminations, Perez has 6, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes has 6. That's quite, whoa. This is the comparison with Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. So Max has 53 wins during their time, Perez has 5, 70 podiums for Max, 29 podiums for Perez, 37 poles, 3 for Perez, and 1,861.5 points as opposed to 932. So pretty much double the points finishes. Oh dear. What I thought was interesting is it's true. December 18th, 2020, Sergio Perez signs for Red Bull. Okay. December 18th, yeah, Perez departed Verstappen as Red Bull as Albon becomes reserve driver. And December 18th, to the day, Sergio Perez and Red Bull part ways exactly 4 years later. Thanks for that, Daniel Valenti. A very interesting stat. So the race have got something about where they're talking about after a month of pressure over his seat. As you know, Sergio Perez is no longer a pay driver. Perez ended up spoiling a great reputation, says Matt Beer. I like getting opinions from the race. And they said, when Red Bull made the call to ditch Albon, we collated an article on the races that doomed Albon, the particular pace drop-offs or missed chances. There was no point collating an article for Perez because the list of races to include would have been all of them. That is savage. Which is actually a real shame because the extent and cost for Perez's Red Bull decline has been such that it's too easy now not to forget how good he was at his best. Yes, we've mentioned he had beaten Verstappen at times. Verstappen would not have been the champion without Perez's intervention in Abu Dhabi that trimmed the Lewis Hamilton Verstappen gap enough to take away Hamilton's safety margin. The wins Perez took were genuinely superb. He could have been exiting F1 with a great reputation as against the odds hero of the 2010s and one of the best wingmen to a great modern era. And they've said instead, he's departing as the guy who cost Red Bull a constructor's title. Ooh. What does Glenn Freeman say? The timing is an injustice, but not the decision. There's no injustice, he says, in Red Bull's decision to drop Perez. If the gap in points between him and Verstappen this year was 285, was a points tally of its own, it would be 5th in the championship. Even allowing for Red Bull's difficulties at this time of year, you can't be that far off it. He said there's some injustice at the timing of the decision being too late to find another drive, but would he have found another drive? I don't think he would have done. And sure, he's broken as a Red Bull driver right now, but he's always excelled in lesser teams. Perez was never going to voluntarily walk away from the longer term contract. Red Bull, and this is what I think is interesting, inexplicably gave him early this year. But if the team has known for a while that they wanted to drop it, it's a shame it couldn't resolve it sooner. Ed Straw, driver strategy is catching up with Red Bull. He's saying the latest chapter in the seemingly endless saga of confusion is their driver strategy. No doubt Red Bull is in the best possible position when it comes to its drivers because, as we know, it's got the second team. They're not using it very well. Once again, the deck chairs on the Titanic are being rearranged without solving the big picture problems. The trouble is, signing Perez in the first place should have created the breathing space to do just that. An experienced, proven campaigner who could do the job for a year or two, buy some time for Red Bull, but it hasn't, has it? Throughout this, Red Bull has been saved by, let's be fair, Max Verstappen. The whole purpose of a driver development, so he's essentially criticising, and I think quite rightly so, Red Bull's driver delivery programme. Why did Red Bull give Perez a 2026 deal? Yeah. Not that the decision is taken and the separation is official, we can definitively say in unison, what on earth was up with that mid-contract extension? It aged like milk, yes, but it was already spoiled milk. Oh no! Red Bull had a 2-year sample size under their rule set to no Perez. If it was fooled by his early 24 form, stronger than his late 23 form, yes, but flattered by the field dominating performance of the RP20 at that point. That's very hard to excuse. And good on Perez for holding out for a payoff, and you almost wish an F1 driver salary cap was in place to punish Red Bull further for its act of contract hubris. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, why? Why on earth did they? Perez had his chance for Gary Anderson. When is the right time? He's saying, yeah, and Perez nowhere to hide, Ben Anderson. Yeah, if Red Bull maintained its 23 level of dominance, then it probably could have afforded to carry Sergio Perez on, even as his underwhelming Imola onwards level. But yeah, as they can dread, Red Bull just couldn't afford it. And I'm not saying Red Bull are a laughing stock, but people are sniggering at them because Sergio Perez cost them a chance at the Constructors' Championship. So, here's the race, and let's end on a positive. Sergio Perez's 10 best drives they've got here in Formula 1. So let's have a look, shall we? Perez, yeah, even. Okay, 10. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix 2022. Yes, he won that earlier. Verstappen did get a penalty, but once Verstappen got up to second, he matched him. The 2013 Italian Grand Prix. Wow. His stint at McLaren was considered a failure. However, it wasn't appreciated at the time that his team was heading into a slump. It was the first of 8 successive seasons in which they failed to win a race. This was another race characterised by a heavy tyre degradation. Eventual winner, Sebastian Vettel pitted for fresh rubber just 2 laps in a season where McLaren fell to 5th in the championship. Perez's run to 5th in the Indian Grand Prix was the best result and one of the few results of that year. It was the Indian Grand Prix, not Italian Grand Prix. Wow, I can't read. The 2011 Australian Grand Prix, solid performance that should have been rewarded with a points finish yielding nothing as both the Saubers, they were disqualified that year, weren't they? Formula One's first race after switching to new tyre supplier Pirelli, Perez proved a master of their fragile rubber. The 2023 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, qualified third, finished first. A trend emerged over Perez's 4 years at Red Bull, in which he performed better earlier in the season. And that was good. He beat once again, outpaced Verstappen there. 2016 European Grand Prix. Perez clicked immediately with Baku's unusual high speed. He finished on the podium on his debut, but it could have been even better. 2012 Italian Grand Prix. That was a grid 12th, race 2nd. Oh my gosh. Another race in which Perez underlined credentials as a tyre whisperer. But he never was later on against Verstappen, was he? The Bahrain Grand Prix 2014. After being axed by McLaren just 1 year into his stint, Perez teamed up with Nico Hülkenberg. Many expected Hülkenberg to have the beating, but Perez came out on top when the pair crossed swords at the second round in Bahrain, proving his lack of podium finishes the year before had been more the car's fault than his. 2022 Monaco Grand Prix. Conditions at the track to do exactly that in 2020, lining up third ahead of Verstappen, who reportedly suspected his teammate deliberately crashed in qualifying. Timing his switch to slick tyres to perfection, Perez jumped into the lead, stayed there, resisting the pressure. That was a good win. 2012 Malaysian Grand Prix, an early switch to wet weather tyres as rain fell proved an inspired move, which put him in the lead of the race for a time. He lost the lead to Alonso in the pits due to a quick Ferrari tyre change, but he spent getting them. And the 2020, fifth to first, but that doesn't really tell the whole story because he did go back to last. And he delivered it in style. Yeah, so not bad there. So if you made it to the end, please give us a like, give us a subscribe. That would be lovely. If you made it to the end, you are a F1 World Champion in our eyes. If you made it to the end and want to do a like or a comment, you are a multiple World Champion. Hit the notification button as well if you do not want to miss a video. And stay tuned over the Christmas season. Yes, we will be doing videos, etc. Speak to you soon. Stay safe, and thank you very much.